Hi guys, welcome back to another video, and today I'll be taking a look at the latest 1440p gaming monitor from BenQ. This is the MOBIUZ EX3410R. Details are in the description below, including purchasing links. The monitor looks quite impressive with a curved ultra-wide design with a 21:9 aspect ratio and bezel-less design. It supports HDMI 2.0 and has a lightning fast 1 millisecond response time, 144Hz refresh rate, supports AMD FreeSync Premium Pro together with HDR10. It has 2.1 channel true sound audio by Trevolo, so I'll be testing this out, doing some gaming with it connected to my gaming PC, and I'll mount it on my sim cockpit to see how immersive the sim racing experience is with it. And we'll also see how good it is as a productivity monitor together with watching some streaming services. I'll also test it to see what it's like with a console, so with my Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5. So let's begin by opening it up and briefly seeing what you get inside the packaging. But before I begin, let me know what you're currently using to game on. And if you're new to the channel, hope you can support me by subscribing and hitting the bell icon to get notified of my next release. In the packaging, you get a quick installation guide, some useful information booklets, a USB-A to USB-B cable, a HDMI 2.0 cable, a DisplayPort 1.4 cable, two power cables, one's for the UK and the other's for the EU. Cable length is about 1.8 meters with a cloverleaf connector on the end. There's also a power adapter, a remote control, an input-output cover, feet for the monitor stand, and finally the monitor. Attaching the stand is pretty simple. Don't lift the monitor out of the box, just attach the monitor stand, which just clips into place, and attach the feet to the arm and tighten the screw at the bottom to secure it, and then lift out the box. The design of the monitor does look really good. It has a black frame. Along the bottom, you have a raised silver BenQ logo on the left, two speakers on either side of the center, and a HDRi button on the right, allowing you to change between the different HDRi modes. Just underneath, you have some buttons to the right. The first button turns the monitor on and off. In the middle, there's a toggle controller, allowing you to navigate around the menu, and on the left is where you can change between the different inputs. Each button does feel quite different, helping to differentiate between them. The monitor stand is metallic grey and has two orange stripes along the front of it. It looks pretty cool, but personally I would have preferred if it was just black, as it would have matched the frame of the monitor. The stand has a height adjustment of up to 10 centimeters. The monitor can be swiveled left to right at 15-degree angles and can be tilted -5 degrees down to 15 degrees up. Due to the curved design, it does feel like the monitor sticks out a lot when placed on a desk, and from the side it covers 26 centimeters of the desk, so it may be better to use it in conjunction with a desk arm to get more space back, which enables you to have the monitor further back too. Coming around the back, the monitor has a metallic space silver grey colour with the MOBIUZ branding on the left. It also has a nice cross design with some thin LED lights on each corner point. There's also a VESA mount point in the centre, together with screws already in there. Below that, there's a button enabling you to remove the monitor from the stand. Just press down and lift off. At the top, you have a built-in subwoofer, and at the bottom, you have the connection ports. There's a power input, two HDMI 2.0 ports, a DisplayPort 1.4, headphone jack, a USB Type-B upstream port, two USB 3.0 downstream ports, and at the side, there's a Kensington locking point. Once you have all the cables connected, you can place the cover over the ports to keep things looking nice and tidy. Now, the monitor's aimed at PC gamers, and to get the higher refresh rates of 144Hz, you'd want to connect it via the DisplayPort to your PC, but if you use the HDMI cable, the maximum refresh rate supported is 120Hz. And obviously these rates are dependent on the graphics card you have. I've got the monitor connected to my gaming PC, which is the Alienware R10 with an RTX 3090 graphics card, and if you wanted to use HDR, make sure you turn it on in the display settings. This allows you to flip between the three different HDRi modes. The majority of games out there do support the ultra-wide aspect ratio of 21:9, and in this case giving you a 3440 by 1440 resolution, but it's always worth double checking for any games you wanted to play in particular. Now, starting up Fortnite for the first time, you just have to ensure you've adjusted the resolution in the game so it's in the ultra-wide resolution, and jumping into the game, the performance is really good with a 1 millisecond response time, and gameplay is ultra smooth with it supporting AMD FreeSync Premium Pro at 144Hz refresh rate. With my setup, I'm getting around 150 115 frames per second, and with a wider field of vision you can see more around you. And just to show the difference, this is what you'd see on a standard 1440p monitor, and this is what to expect in an ultra wide format. And obviously seeing more on the screen does help when you're gaming, giving you a wider perspective of your surroundings. Fortnite is quite a colourful game, and the monitor does do a great job with the vibrant colours and supports a colour gamut of 90% P3 with 16.7 million colours and a 3000:1 contrast ratio. Onto GTA 5, and again the experience is really good on the wider aspect ratio, feels very different from a standard 16:9 aspect ratio. The curvature is 1000R and it has an anti-glare coating on the screen which feels quite comfortable when you're gaming on it. The display is HDR 400, meaning it supports a peak brightness of 400 nits, and it even works pretty well with a lot of light in the room. Viewing angles are 178 degrees and clarity levels are pretty good from all sides. Onto Call of Duty, and it's just insane with a wider viewing perspective, making the gaming experience much more immersive, with great levels of clarity which are more superior than 1080p at 1440p, but not as sharp as 4K, and again good colour representation. Light bleed wise there is some, as you can see here, but it's not too bad. The lower part is thicker as it contains the two 2-watt speakers at the front and one 5-watt subwoofer at the back. You have 5 sound mode presets for different audio modes, and to be honest I'm really impressed with the quality of the sound you get, as most monitors generally have very tinny sound with 0 to no bass. The sound does have some depth to it and it can go quite loud. It doesn't replace having separate speakers or even a gaming headset plugged in, but they are pretty good and does give an immersive gaming experience. Have a listen to this as I'm racing around in Forza Horizon 5. You also have a headphone jack allowing you to plug in a headset or even some external speakers. Let's get the monitor mounted onto my sim cockpit. This is from Track Racer and it's the TR120, and my wheel is a Fanatec GT-DD Pro, and I'm playing Forza Horizon 5 on my PC. The clarity level is really good with great colour and contrast levels, and again the 21:9 aspect ratio gives a wider field of vision which just adds to the immersion when racing. Performance is excellent with a 1 millisecond response time and smooth gameplay with no screen tearing. If you were into sim racing, it's a great monitor to consider as it doesn't take up too much space and the wider field of vision gives a great experience. There's even a game mode for racing together with FPS and RPG where the picture quality is excellent. Now the monitor is aimed at PC gamers as ultra-wide displays are not supported on consoles, but you can connect it to a console. So in this case I've got it connected to my Xbox Series X, which supports 1440p but not a 21:9 aspect ratio. And going into settings, you can see the monitor supports 4K UHD at 60Hz and 1440p at 120Hz, as the HDMI ports are 2.0. Variable refresh rate is supported, but Dolby Vision isn't. Now testing this out on Forza Horizon 5, you can see the screen just stretches the 16:9 aspect ratio to fit the ultra-wide display, and it does feel a little bit weird gaming like this. Onto the PlayStation 5, which still doesn't support 1440p, but looking in video output, it's reporting 3840 by 2160, which is 4K, and that obviously isn't true. And gaming on here is stretched too, as you can see. If you wanted it in a normal format with the Xbox Series X or S, you could just go to display mode in the monitor menu and select aspect. This will give you a resolution of 2560 by 1440, as the Xbox does natively support 1440p, but you'll end up with black borders on either side. This also works with the PS5, but that console doesn't natively support 1440p, and the output resolution reports 3840 by 2160, which isn't correct, but there's nothing stopping you from using it like this, and it does work regardless. The monitor also has a picture-in-picture mode where it can display 2 different inputs on the screen at the same time, and there's 3 different modes for this. The first is a side-by-side view where each input resolution is reduced to accommodate the screen. The second has a 1440p with 16:9 aspect ratio where you can plug in a console and the remaining area could be used for connecting your PC, for example. And the final one is where you have a secondary display which appears as a small window. It's a cool option to have, and let me know in the comments if you think it's a useful one and how you'd use it. The monitor has a number of different picture modes, and I wanted to show you each one running side by side to give you an idea how each one differs. The game HDRi shows darker details and a good balance on brighter scenes. It enhances contrast, detail and boosts color performance. The flesh tones and reds are emphasized on the figures and the scenes are rendered in cool colors. With the Cinema HDRi, you get more saturated green, blue and cyan colors that present smoother red and natural skin tones. With the Display HDR, it has less detail and overexposure concerns. The other modes are non-HDR, but you can see the subtle differences in picture quality between each one. Using the monitor for your productivity needs is great too. The large screen gives a great area to work from, allowing you to easily have multiple documents open side by side, and it's also perfect for video editing. The monitor can be used for entertainment purposes, so you could stream movies from Netflix on your PC, for example, or watch YouTube videos. But depending on the aspect ratio, not everything is recorded in the 21:9 aspect ratio, so you may get black bars on the side. You could also plug in an Amazon Fire Stick, but the display will look stretched on this. And if you wanted it in a normal format, just go to display mode in the monitor menu and select aspect. But you'll end up with black borders on either side. The controls on the OSD menu are underneath the monitor. The power button has an LED on it, which can be turned off via the menu. I like the idea of this as it gives a quick reference point to where the button is without touching the monitor. You also get a small remote, which has a good feel to it and a much easier way to navigate around, as I always find the buttons on a monitor a hassle to use. The OSD is good and you can navigate quite easily around the menus. There's some useful presets and options like contrast enhancement and low blue light mode, and there's a quick menu option that allows you to change either game, cinema or display. There's scenario mappings also when you're gaming, and it self-adjusts to the current video input signal and loads your personalized gaming settings. You can access different game scenarios quickly by switching the input without wasting time on readjusting settings. At the back you've got 4 RGB lights, one in each corner. This can be controlled via the OSD menu, allowing you to turn them on, select different static colors and even cycle between them. It looks pretty cool, but it just gives a very low level of light in each of the corners that reflects off the wall behind. But with the monitor mounted on a stand, the curved design increases the distance from the wall, and due to this the lighting that's given off seems very minimal. There's no brightness control on this, which is a shame, and it would have been nice to be able to make it brighter. For those of you wondering what it's like with a screen bar just above the monitor, I've got BenQ ScreenBar Plus monitor light, and looking from the top you get the impression that this isn't going to work as the sides cover some of the area of the screen, but surprisingly there's no impact on the screen or the lighting on your desk, as just the lighting from the edges is cut off. So really impressed at how well it works, and it can help in reducing eye strain when you're working in the evening, for example. So in summary, I'm really impressed with this ultra-wide gaming monitor from BenQ. Great performance when gaming at 1440p at 144Hz with a 1 millisecond response time and excellent picture quality. It's great on either a desk or even a sim cockpit. It's also perfect as a productivity monitor, giving you an excellent amount of space to work off with its 21:9 aspect ratio. The 2.1 built-in speakers are excellent for a monitor, and it's great it comes with a remote control for easy access to all the options. Price-wise, it comes in at $630 or £670 in the UK. Negatives-wise, did feel like it took up a lot of space on my desk due to the curved design, but this can easily be improved by getting a monitor arm, and this will clear the space on your desk and allow you to move the monitor further back. It would have been nice if the LEDs at the back were brighter, allowing it to cover a larger area to give more ambient background lighting, and it would have been great if there were at least 4 USB ports on the back instead of the 2, allowing me to plug in my wireless keyboard, mouse and headset. But this isn't a big deal, and if you're after an all-round ultra-wide 1440p monitor for both gaming and productivity on your PC, you won't be disappointed with this. So you've come to the end of another video, and I hope it's helped anyone thinking of purchasing this. Details are in the description below, including purchasing links. And if you're still here, drop an ultra-wide in the comments, as it's always nice to see who's made it to the end of my videos. You can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook and Twitter. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to be notified of my next release. Thanks for viewing, and see you in the next one.